We often think of wealth as something we can see, numbers in an account, property, influence. But what if true wealth is not a matter of possession, but perception? Throughout history, societies have measured prosperity in gold, grain, or GDP. Yet across cultures and centuries, another idea keeps returning, that the richest life may be the simplest one. Today, we'll explore why material abundance rarely guarantees contentment, and why the human mind keeps searching for a richer kind of richness. From gold to growth, the shifting meaning of wealth in early civilizations. Wealth was tangible: land, livestock, and food. To own more meant to survive longer. But as trade expanded, wealth became symbolic, a promise on paper, a number on a screen. This abstraction changed everything. Once value could be stored, borrowed, or multiplied, the pursuit of wealth became endless. The Industrial Revolution gave this pursuit a moral frame. Growth was progress, and progress was good. To produce more meant to improve life. Factories, railways, and global trade brought prosperity to millions, but also taught us to equate more with better. That logic still governs the modern mind. We think in terms of accumulation: more income, more influence, more visibility. But when enough keeps expanding, satisfaction retreats. The paradox of growth is that abundance creates new forms of scarcity of time, attention, and calm. 2. The psychology of enough. Why do we chase more when we already have enough? Psychology offers a simple answer: comparison. Human happiness is relative. We measure our status not by what we have, but by what others have slightly more of. In the 1950s, economist Richard Turlin noticed something curious. As nations grew wealthier, happiness did not rise in step. Beyond a certain threshold, the curve flattened. People's basic needs were met, yet contentment stalled. The finding became known as the Turlin paradox, a reminder that after comfort comes diminishing returns. Modern neuroscience echoes this idea. The brain's reward system adapts quickly. A raise, a purchase, a new achievement, all soon normalize. Desire resets, and the chase resumes. Wealth promises freedom, but often binds us to new expectations. So the question becomes not how much do we have, but how much is enough to feel free. 3. Culture and the aesthetics of wealth. Different cultures have answered this question in different ways. In ancient China, the Confucian scholar valued restraint and cultivated simplicity that reflected moral balance. In Japan, the concept of wabi-sabi found beauty in imperfection, seeing humility as a form of grace. In Europe, the idea of the gentleman linked refinement to virtue, suggesting that true class was never loud. Even today, the so-called old money aesthetic fascinates us not because of the wealth itself, but because of what it implies: control, stability, a quiet sense of sufficiency. It represents a kind of calm that modern consumer culture can rarely produce. Advertising thrives on the opposite impulse: perpetual dissatisfaction. It tells us that identity can be bought, that happiness needs upgrading. And yet, beneath the surface noise, many people sense a fatigue with endless consumption. The minimalism movement, the return to nature, and even digital detox culture all reflect a yearning to redefine what it means to live richly. 4. Time, freedom, and the invisible currency. If we strip wealth down to its essence, what remains? Time. Everything else is a conversion of it. We trade time for money, money for comfort, comfort for more time. The arithmetic is circular, but the outcome is not. The only real luxury is freedom, the ability to use our hours meaningfully. Economists call this subjective well-being, but it might be simpler to call it peace. Having time to rest without guilt. To think without rush. To give attention freely, without counting the cost. True wealth, then, lies not in ownership, but in autonomy, in being able to choose one's pace, one's purpose, one's people. It's the space to breathe in a crowded world, and the clarity to say, this is enough. Closing reflection: the history of wealth is the history of human desire, our attempt to turn security into meaning. But meaning is not something we can own. It lives in our capacity to appreciate, to understand, to let go. Perhaps that is the quiet secret of prosperity, not the power to acquire, but the wisdom to stop needing. When we cease to measure life by accumulation, we begin to experience it by depth. And in that stillness, wealth becomes what it was always meant to be: not the possession of things, but the fullness of being.